KE4 Victor, Oscar Victor.
Ah, now you came up there. What's the name, then, sir?
My name here is Steve, located in South Alabama.
Roger, Steve, and what radio are you running?
KC9VKV.
Oh, Roger that. The audio, I just wonder if, we usually run a Qso-Vlog net on this frequency on Friday afternoons where we record and then play back, well, not playback, but we upload to YouTube, and then folks can come by within a couple of days and check out their audio, Roger. And we are doing a pop-up air check this morning, kind of running a test on some of the stuff that we are working on. We just finished, we're running a 10-foot magnetic loop antenna right now, and 1 kW, and usually those two things don't work out mutually best because the 10-foot loop puts a lot more signal into the radio than the radio wants to see. We're using an auxiliary antenna input on the radio. So yesterday I did build a transmit mute switch, automatic transmit mute switch, which deactivates the input to the radio when I go into transmit to keep the radio from having problems. Roger?
That's a lot to really take in, but yeah, that's it's just the operator, just my drops and so on. Let me see if I can reach out.
Roger. Now, I was just listening to your audio, and it, to my, usually when we tune up, we kind of concentrate on getting the average percent of peak modulation up from, like unprocessed audio is probably around 30% average peak modulation. And through running the compressor at about a 3, and bringing the ALC level up to mid-scale to 2/3 by adjusting the mic level, we can usually get about a 3 dB dynamic range and increase that average percent of peak modulation to up around 80 to 85%, which is almost the equivalent of sounding about twice as loud as unprocessed, but with finesse, because you don't hear any of the stuff working. Roger? I'm sorry. Now, in your case, on your audio, I don't know if you have EQ, but if you had EQ, I would suggest a lot of top-end EQ to, the brightness of a signal really helps as far as being able to understand what's said. And if you don't have a nice top-end audio-wise, you can have all the volume you want, but it's very difficult to pick out the words. And I'll give you a demonstration. I'm going to put my hand up against the mic in front of my voice, and then you'll hear what it sounds like if you don't have a top end in your audio. All right, so here we go. All right, right now I've got my hand over the microphone, and this is equivalent to not having much top end EQ. You don't hear any of the syllabics. Whereas, if you're on mic and you have a top end EQ, then things are a whole lot easier to understand. Roger?
Yeah, Roger that. Well, I have a deep voice anyway. I suppose I can't do anything like that, but anyway, I don't know, I might be able to, like I say, I just got the radio, I don't want to do anything.
Roger that. Well, do you know how to get to your EQ settings?
But they got too much bass, or they got, what you're saying?
There is quite a bit of bass, but I would try working on the top end first. I would go to my EQ and I would crank in at least 4 or 5 clicks of top end EQ. I would grab that top end EQ, the treble control, and just go up about 4 or 5 clicks, because it's, you know, your signal is strong, but it doesn't have a nice edge to it. It doesn't have a nice top end as far as intelligibility. Roger?
Okay, well, because of the, you know, the bass voice that I have, I can't do anything about that. But yeah, I can go in that, you know, it'll take me a little while to do it, but maybe I'll work on that. So I just need to take maybe the top end of it and the treble, and go up a little bit on the treble, and I have the bass take a little bit of it out.
Yeah, Roger. I would suggest probably maybe 2 dB off the bottom end and about 4 dB plus. Well, let me put it this way: about 2 dB roll, 2 clicks roll on the bottom end, roll off 2 clicks on the bottom end, and put in about 4 clicks positive EQ on the top, about 4 clicks positive EQ. High frequency boost on the EQ, about 4 clicks there. Roger?
Roger that. Okay, well, I surely I'll check into that and try to do that there, and appreciate your input on it.
Roger. And then, you know, gosh, I think we're going to be here for a while, because we are testing out that mute switch. And if you get a chance, you know, jump back in if we're in. You know, we'll take a listen and see what we got. Roger.
Under that. Well, let me go trim it out there, and maybe I get right with you there. This is KE4VOV.
You know, gosh, that last transmission sounded good. KE4, what's the rest?
KE4 Victor, Oscar Victor.
I got you. Yeah, you know, you're sounding better. I don't know. Maybe you were working the microphone just a little differently in the beginning?
Yeah. I like that. A little bit there. Is that better?
That last transmission before that, I had a better copy on you, and it sounded pretty good. You had a lot more top end than when we first started, you know, and that's really the important thing, the brightness of the audio, because if you don't have that, when you get down to push come to shove and the noise, if you don't have a nice bright top end, then the noise kind of overwhelms you, and it's hard to understand what you're saying. But if you do have a defined audio top end, you can be right there, right in the middle of noise, and folks can still understand the words you're saying. Roger?
Roger that. Well, yeah, you always want it to be that way. You know, and you know, a lot of people won't tell you. They just say, I've had some good reports so far, but nobody's been, you know, because I know my voice has a lot of bass in it, and anyway, let me go into the menu here and see if I can roll a bit of top in here. This is KE4VOV.
Roger that. All right, yeah, I'll probably be here for a while. And let me verify your call again. KE4VOV, is that a Roger?
That's a Roger. My name's Steve, and located in Newton, Alabama.
Roger that, Steve. Well, listen, we are recording at the moment, and all things being equal and the creeks don't rise, we'll be posting this up on YouTube as a pop-up air check, and we'll probably do that in the next couple of days. So at this point, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for an entity that has your call sign in it. That's usually the way we do our pop-ups. We just put the person's call sign in the title. So, and we'll probably upload that within the next couple of days. Roger, this is on a YouTube search for KC9VKV.
Okay, KC9. All right. Well, I'll be listening, and like I say, let me go roll this thing up and see if I can get into the menu there. Appreciate the input, and you have a good day from KE4VOV.
Roger, Roger, Steve. 3's that way, sir. You have a real good morning, and we'll catch you later. And this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Well, we normally run a Qso-Vlog program on this frequency on Friday afternoons between 3:30 and 5. We're doing a little pop-up air check at the moment, testing out a mute switch that we made for the 10-foot magnetic loop. It's coming in on our B input, auxiliary input to the radio. And so we want to mute that input as we're running a KW, and not have the wattage coming into the radio. So we do have a automatic transmit mute for that antenna. This is a KC9VKV. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, calling CQ, 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 CQ. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, calling CQ and listening. You're a station way back in there. You are right with my noise, but I hear you calling. This is KC9VKV. If you can repeat your call sign. So I can't pull you out right now. We are running a KW demonstration of the difference between 100 watts and a KW. We are now down to 100 watts. This is 100 watts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now back to the KW, KC9VKV. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, calling CQ. CQ, CQ, CQ. KC9VKV, this morning we're testing out an auto mute switch for the B input of our radio, sampling a 10-foot magnetic loop antenna. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. We are listening on the 10-foot magnetic loop antenna at this time. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. We're currently running 000 degrees, which is facing north with the major lobe of the 10-foot magnetic loop antenna. It's kind of strange as you get larger in the loop, the antenna ceases to maintain a normal lobe pattern because of the size to the wavelength. And so we did the other day use a field strength meter and oriented the magnetic loop around and took readings as it passed by, and finally found the major lobe, which is off the ends, but not directly off the ends, kind of about 15 degrees to the left of center on the magnetic loop. This is KC9VKV calling CQ.
Kilo Tango 4 Oscar Oscar.
Kilo Tango Oscar Oscar. Go ahead. What's the call really?
The call is Kilo Tango 4 Oscar Oscar. You're 509 to North Carolina.
North Carolina. Roger, Roger. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And what's the name there?
Name is Jack Juliet Ocean Hotel November.
Jack, and what city are you close to in North Carolina?
We're sitting on Holden Beach, on the southeast side of the state, right on the coast.
Roger, Roger. Did you get some bad weather from the hurricane here recently, or how'd you fare on that?
We dodged the bullet on the first one, the second one is out to sea, which is getting some good tides out of it.
Roger, Roger, Jack. Now, would you say that you are kind of, would you be 90, I'm in Louisville, next door to Louisville, Kentucky. I'm on the Indiana side of the Ohio River right at Louisville. Would you say that Louisville would be directly west from you?
Probably just a little bit out.
A little south of directly west, west-southwest?
Roger.
All right, my loop is on a rotor, so I'm going to roll it around to a little south of 90 degrees. So let me just get going here. Oh, shoot. Well, this will be a receive-only test because I'm transmitting on my inverted V antenna and listening on the loop. And all right, so that's about 110 degrees. Come back and let me listen to you.
Okay, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, test.
By George, I think I got a better copy on you. Yeah, we are just using the loop in the receive mode this morning. We just built a transmit mute switch for the antenna, the magnetic loop antenna, to keep the RF out of the radio. We're running about a kW here, and that loop is probably about 80 feet away from the inverted V. So we're probably getting quite a bit of blow-by into the magnetic loop, and so we wanted to mute the input to the radio of that antenna in transmit, so it doesn't get a bunch of wattage in there. Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, your transmit antenna is doing 20, 30 over, so that on that end is good, and I'm glad you're hearing me real fine.
Oh yes, sir. You are about 12 dB over my noise level. I don't have my receiver set up like most folks. I have a very limited RF gain control, so I'm not, pushing the AGC, and I can't give you a real S-meter reading, but I can give you, I'm looking at your audio on the output of VU meter, and I've got you set for 0 level on the VU meter, and then when you cease speaking, the meter falls down and reads the residual noise level, and you were about 12 dB above my residual noise level, Roger. Nice signal.
Yeah, Roger. We rented a home. A beach house right on the beach, and I got a fire beam pole up, and I'm running a G5RV Junior tied down to the deck here on the front porch, and sort of haphazard setup, but I guess you can hear me okay. I'm glad you're hearing my signal, and you're putting out a good one too.
Roger, Roger. Now, are you on vacation? Is that a Roger? Well, gosh, how long have you been there for the duration of the hurricane, or before then even?
No, we got here the week after the hurricane come through Dorian. It didn't do any damage, just some sand on the streets and everything, but they cleaned it up pretty quick.
Oh, Roger, did you have any high water situations there?
No, nothing like that happened. Like I said, just some high winds blew some sand off the beach onto the road.
Roger that, Roger that. Yeah, I spent some time in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I've spent 50 years in commercial radio broadcasting, and went through North Carolina there in, 67, 68, 69. Worked at 2 stations, one in Fayetteville and one at Fort Bragg, just off base at Fort Bragg. Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Our home QCH is Greenville, South Carolina.
Roger that. Roger that. Well, what radio are you running, sir?
Running ICOM 750 603. just 100 watts.
Ah, doing a great job. Doing a great job. The band is a little up and down. That last one, I think you were about 70 dB over my noise, but very, copyable. Roger, Roger.
Roger, yeah, your voice during the broadcast, your voice does travel very well and sounds very good.
Roger that. And we are running a condenser microphone into an ART preamp, and that ART preamp furnishes the 48 volts phantom power supply for the condenser mic. And then, that it really helps out because the ART preamp has a limiter that you have an option of running or not, and I am running the limiter, so I am probably limiting about 3 or 4 dB prior to going into the radio. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. You're not flattering. You got the voice is just fine, and I don't think you're putting out over the bandwidth you're supposed to be putting out as far as your voice. Yeah, it's just sounds good.
Roger. Well, we're running an older Yaesu FT990, but it's pretty highly modified coming and going. On the receive side, it's flat from 100 cycles to in excess of 3K. And in the transmit side, we're to 3K. Roger?
Roger, Roger, right on the nose. Well, it looks like the guy wants to walk. Needs to walk on the beach, so we're going to give him one. And I'm glad I could check out your receive antenna. You have a good rest of the day, and we'll catch you later.
Roger, Roger, Jack. Enjoy the ocean. I wish I were there. At 3s, and you have a real good day and a great remaining vacation. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor.
Kilo Tango 4 Oxford, Northwest.
And this is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor. And we are doing a kind of a pop-up air check this morning, testing out our mute switch for the 10-foot magnetic loop antenna. It's coming into our radio on a auxiliary input. And so we do want to mute the input from that mag loop in transmit because it would be too much wattage for the radio to handle there, because we are running about a kW on our inverted V, and that magnetic loop is probably about 80 feet away or so, and probably getting quite a bit of blow-by, so we don't want to damage the radio, so we do mute the input of the 10-foot mag loop in the transmit mode. This is KC9VKV.
This is KM4HFB, Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Fox Bravo.
That was Kilo Mike 4 what?
Yeah, Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Fox Bravo.
Hotel Foxtrot, is there something after that?
Yeah, Bravo, boy, first Bravo.
Kilo Mike 4 HFB, Roger?
Roger, Roger.
Okay, I wanted to mention to Jack, sorry just a moment, but Jack, are you still in there from North Carolina? I guess he isn't. We are recording, and I wanted to let him know that we were recording and that we would be loading this up on YouTube in the next couple of days so he can go there and listen to his beautiful audio. All right, so this other station, KM4HFB, what's the name there?
Yeah, the name here is Randy, Romeo Alpha, November Delta Yankee Randy. I'm in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I just happened to be tuning through and heard you talking to the previous gentleman. Fantastic signal over here as you apply. 9, 10 over sometimes. Great signal, great audio.
Roger, thank you, Randy. I think I'm probably too far east for you. Let me come back. Let's see what I can do here. Well, I could probably do that in. This is a receive. I'm making an directional adjustment on my 10-foot mag loop antenna that we're using in the receive mode. I'm going back to 25 degrees. That probably won't make any difference to your reception because I'm transmitting on an inverted V, but I'm listening on a 10-foot magnetic loop antenna on a rotor. So I just pulled it around to 25 degrees, and let me hear you, sir.
Okay, I'm transmitting on a Buckmaster inverted V antenna. It's about 35 feet up in my tree out back there. Does pretty good. Yeah, like you said, you're on a different antenna transmitting, so I didn't see any difference here. How does it look now there, over?
Oh, Roger, you are 10 dB over my noise level. Before, I think you were about 3 dB above my noise level, Roger.
Oh, roger that. Yeah, I'm just running 100 watts here, running barefoot, so no amplifier. Well, that's good to hear.
Roger, yes, this loop antenna is quite amazing. It's only 3 feet off the ground. It is, there's about 18 inches of pipe sticking up, a rotor onto that, and then about 2 feet up and into the magnetic loop. So maybe 3.5 feet total off the ground, Roger.
Oh, very good. That sounds great. Now, did you build that one yourself, over?
Roger. It's a 1-inch HELIAXE. The loop is a 1-inch HELIAXE. The shield on the HELIAXE is copper, and so it's like a 1-inch piece of copper tubing out there, Roger.
All right, very good. That's pretty good. Now, can you make that portable with you as you decide to go on the road and go camping? Can you take it and set it up?
No, 10 foot. I mean, HELIAXE barely bends in a circle. You can't do much with it. It is what it is, But we are finishing our pretty much our experimentations with it. It has now become, I think, the mainstay as far as the listening device. Although I just got clearances from my ELMER to build a 22-foot magnetic loop antenna, which is going to be really amazing. 22 feet magnetic loop antenna that will run 90 degrees to this antenna. Although this antenna is variable, I'll probably be using it pointed north, and this one will be running for east and west. So I'll be able to switch back and forth between loops and probably have different lobes, like a scanner, Roger.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the diameter. 10 foot, you're right, that's not portable. Maybe I need to build something like that. I tried to contact my brother, K6MCS in California, in Sacramento, and we always have a tough time. I can talk to other stations in California, but where he's at there, it's really, really low in the noise, very hard to hear him. So maybe I need to go try a loop.
Roger. Well, now I'll tell you, the first loop I made was a 1 meter size loop for 40, and I was very unimpressed. I was at least 5 S units, or maybe 3 S units below. I would do a shootout with the 2 antennas. I have the perfectly tuned inverted V with a standing wave ratio of 0.02, so you can't hardly get a better tuned resonant inverted V dipole than that. And then I would AV that to my 1 meter loop antenna, and I was using Milford PA as a test target receive situation, and so that 1 meter was just a joke. I mean, as far as matching the transmit capabilities between that and the inverted V. So that was when I decided and realized that the size of the loop determined the gain, and so I just went what I considered to be first base home run situation with this 10-foot mag loop. And now when I was using it in the transmit mode, I made a VariCap capacitor for the 10-foot mag loop. It consisted of a red gold can of tomatoes, which I'd already eaten and washed the can out, and then a standard can of green beans, I think. And I had a silicone placemat that I had wrapped around the little can and crammed it inside the big can, had wires on either can, and that was my capacitor for tuning. And the first time I checked it out, I was on 8 megs, so it didn't take long to work the two cans down to 7.188, this frequency, and I had a standing wave of 1.5, which for my red gold tuning capacitor I considered not bad. And you know, that was great for KW. I could do about an hour and a half, and I would just have slight warming on the cans. Roger?
Yeah, roger that. That's pretty good there. Now, are you running high power, or are you just running low power here? And yeah, I can't wait till you get that 22-foot built and hear what that thing sounds like, and then you put it on YouTube. That'd be pretty good. Back to you, KM4HFB.
Roger. We're running a kilowatt, but we're just using our inverted V antenna for the transmit. We're just transmitting on the inverted V. I've pretty much decided that I'm just going to run the loops, the magnetic loops, in the receive mode. They tend to be best in that mode because at best, on a shootout with this 10-foot and my inverted Vs, the mag loop comes out just sometimes equal, but sometimes less than the inverted V. So I might as well just stay on the inverted V for transmit, which will be the best most all the time, even though it might be slightly best on some occasions. It's still, I think, a more efficient antenna for transmitting than the mag loop. But that being said, on the receive mode, the magnetic loop is easily, maybe average-wise, 5 or 6 dB hotter in the receive and 3 dB less noise. So on any given time, you could be talking about a 10 dB to the good reception situation using the loop versus the inverted V.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, and you said I jumped 10 dB on that. That's pretty darn good. All right, that's cool. I'm going to have to look into that. Maybe I'll make communications to my brother in California easier for me to hear him. That's for sure. All right, well, I'll let you go there, and enjoy talking to you, and good luck with the next segment. This is Kilo Mike 4 Hotel Foxtrot Bravo 78.
Roger, Andy. And we are recording now, so if you want to hear what your radio sounds like, we'll post this on YouTube in the next couple of days. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. We have about 730 Qso-Vlogs at the moment, but you'll be looking for the one that has your call sign in it. We will use that as an idea for your call sign. There will be a few other call signs in there, but just look for your call sign next couple of days on YouTube, Roger. After a KC9VKV search on YouTube.
Yeah, roger that. I will definitely do that. All right, thanks a lot, and have a good day. KM4HFB.
Roger, threes. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and we're having a my pop-up air check this morning, checking out a mute switch, automatic mute switch for our 10-foot magnetic loop coming in on the B select for the radio, and this automatically mutes the mag loop input to keep from damaging the radio, since we're using an inverted V and a 1 kW about 80 feet away. This is KC9VKV. Here, station, way back in there. Try again, please, sir. And I'm sorry, sir, you're just under my noise level. But maybe conditions might change here in a little bit. We'll probably be running for another 20 minutes or so. And so if conditions get better, give me another shout. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. On 7188, we're usually on this frequency on Friday afternoons. We conduct a Qso-Vlog network on Friday afternoons on this frequency, and we assist folks in their radio tune-up audio-wise, and also we are recording the full length of the time from 3:30 till 5, and we post that up on YouTube within the next couple of days, so folks can go there and hear what their radio sounds like. And we are running right now a recording, so if you would be interested in checking out your audio, give me a shout. KC9VKV. Kilo X-ray. Let's see here. Kilo X-ray. And what was the rest?
Kilo X-ray 2 Lima. I'm in southern Georgia.
Roger, roger. Let me go. Okay, I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. Let me pull my loop around south. I'm sure that would be. This is KC9VKV, and we are transmitting on our inverted V and listening on our magnetic loop, our 10-foot magnetic loop, and we're pulling around to the south. You won't notice any difference because we are transmitting on the inverted V, but there should be a difference in receive, so we are now at 180 degrees. Come back and let me listen to you. Roger, I didn't notice much of a signal difference. I pulled around a little bit more towards the west from due south. What's your location?
I'm in Clifton, Georgia, southern Georgia, which is about 70 miles from the Florida border there, Highway 95, but southern Georgia, over.
Okay, I just pulled a little bit more to the east of due south, and you did come up quite a bit there, Roger.
Well, thank you. I'm only running 100 watts into an inset wire of 33 feet, and again, the name is Tom, so not putting out much power or anything. I'm wondering, could you give me your call again slowly, please? Over.
Roger, roger. The call is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. The name is Jim, Juliet India Mike. Roger?
Roger, roger, Jim. I got you now. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And again, you're about 10 over 9. Beautiful signal into southern Georgia. Over.
Roger that, roger that. Thank you. And you were, at one time, you were 8 dB above my noise level, which is a nice signal. But the conditions are volatile, so, you know, that signal is up and down. But right today, we are checking out our magnetic loop mute switch, automatic mute relay that disables the magnetic loop input to the radio in the transmit mode, since we are running a 1 kW on a inverted V about 80 feet away from the 10-foot mag loop. We keep the RF out of the radio and transmit. Roger?
Roger, roger. You're doing a great job there. No problem commenting you at all. So Your setup's working perfect there. Over.
Roger. The only thing would be that if there is a click, we run a Qso-Vlog network on Friday afternoons from 3:30 till 5 on this frequency, and we have stuff pretty sophisticated, and I am stealing a little voltage off the key switch to run back to the relay to activate the mute, and I thought I detected a little click in the audio now since I added that second relay, but hopefully that's not true. If it is, then we'll have to take some additional steps, but for right now we do have that automatic mute happening when we hit transmit. Roger?
Roger. Well, the mute switch, you're doing great. I didn't hear anything, so you put in good audio out and no separation there. So very good, Jim. Okay, I won't keep it. I just wanted to say because you were booming in here to southern Georgia. And have a nice morning there, Jim. From Kilo X-Ray to Lima.
Roger, Tom. 3Z-Way, sir, and thanks for coming back to me. I have one suggestion for your operation would be that if you could get a little foam windscreen for your microphone, that would cut down on any mouth transients, plosives, and just general garbage that might be there without the windscreen. Roger?
Roger. I have a tendency to shout the mic there a little bit. Just using the little handheld that is the rig, the Yaesu DX1200, a little hand mic. So I have a tendency to shout into the mic. I got to remember that. Okay, Tim, thank you very much. From Kilo X-Ray to Lima.
Roger, Tom. No, that's fine. You should be able to do that. You sound great. I would just get that windscreen, and then you can do, just absolutely perfect. That would be the crowning touch to your audio, man. Just absolutely clean audio. The way you're working it is fine, but that little windscreen probably runs about $5, and we just take care of any little thing. Roger.
Into it. I can afford that. Would do very well there, Jim. Okay, have a nice morning. We'll catch you again, 7-3, KX2L.
Roger, Tom. 3Z-Way, sir. Thanks for coming back, and you have a real good afternoon. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, and we are running a little my pop-up air check this morning, checking out some equipment that we've added to mute our 10-foot mag loop antenna in the transmit mode. We are transmitting on an inverted V, and we want to be sure that with our kilowatt on the inverted V that it doesn't damage the radio coming in on the loop in our transmit mode, so we do mute the loop in the transmit. This is KC9VKV. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor on a pop-up air check situation. Usually we're on this frequency on Friday afternoons from 3:30 till 5 on a Qso-Vlog network. But this morning we are checking out some equipment that we've just added to mute our 10-foot mag loop antenna input and transmit. And I just got clearance from my ELMER to build a 22-foot loop, 22-foot loop to be mounted and built 90 degrees to this loop. So I'll be running a 10-foot loop and a 22-foot loop, and I'll be able to use them as a scanner, one going north and south and one going east and west, which should prove interesting. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, transmitting on the inverted V and listening on the 10-foot mag loop. And currently we are oriented south, KC9VKV. Station calling, try again. I can hear you back in there, but I can't make out the words. This is KC9VKV.
KC9VKV, there's a station from Indonesia calling you in on the frequency, a Yankee Delta 1, I think.
I cannot copy him, sir. I'll listen. This is KC9VKV. I guess that would be east of Louisville, wouldn't it? This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. We have pulled east. We are pointed east now on our mag loop antenna and listening. Station, if you've got a copy on that DX station relay.
Station calling you Yankee Delta 2 Delta Oscar Papa. He must be portable somewhere because that's Indonesian. Indonesian call. Delta Oscar Papa from loud and clear, North Carolina. K4AVO.
I don't hear him. I pulled back to 25 degrees. I was south, and now I pulled back to 025 degrees, and I still don't copy this station, Roger.
Delta 3 Delta Oscar Papa. If you copy, try it again. Yankee Delta 2 Delta Oscar Papa. K4AVO. Try it again. Anyway, have a good day. We'll send over
this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, North Carolina station. What's the call there?
Call again is Kilo 4 Alpha Victor Oscar. Kilo 4 Alpha Victor Oscar.
Kilo 4 Alpha Victor Oscar, was that Roger?
Roger, QSL.
And what's the name?
The name is Pat, Papa Alpha Tango. Pat like Pat Tango.
And what's your location, sir?
Oxford, North Carolina. Oxford, North Carolina.
Alrighty, Pat. This is Jim, Juliet India Mike, Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. We're located just across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger?
Roger. You've got a great station. What region are you running there, by the way? I'm hearing you talking about the antenna. What region are you running there?
I'm sorry. We're running about a KW on an inverted V antenna system and listening on a 10-foot magnetic loop oriented east right now, Roger.
Have a good day. It's a little cooler in North Carolina today, and I expect it is about the same where you are. At least our low temperature is around 66 degrees this morning. It still felt good. I'm running 100 watts into a loop antenna, and don't get on the phone very loud.
Roger, Pat. Now, I just noticed your audio just came up drastically when you took a breath. I don't believe it was atmospheric conditions. I believe it might have been your audio. I tell you, we have an interesting suggestion for you. I know you have a watt meter tied to that radio, and if you orient the watt meter you know, it represents the audio that your voice is transmitting. So if you look at your watt meter and make it, you know, kind of think of it as a VU meter, a modulation meter, as you speak, you can tell where your peaks are, and if you concentrate on keeping your peaks up, that is probably the one of the most important things that an operator can do as far as modulation, is to try to keep his average voice level, you know, as consistent as possible. So if you're looking at your watt meter as you're speaking, you can tell when you back off mic like that, you can tell that your meter drops down, and it comes back up when you're talking, you know, right into your microphone. So you might try that as far as, you know, helping you to be consistent as far as your mic level control. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, I'm a CW operator 99.9% of the time, and very seldom do any sideband whatsoever. It's strictly CW. But I've got the microphone up here close by now. I'm hoping it's doing a little bit better. 73, thanks for the report. Take care and enjoy the rest of your morning. K4AVO. See you again.
Roger, Pat. Threes to you, sir. I do have a VU meter that is active when I'm talking, and I look at that. Well, I spent 50 years looking at meters as you know, in commercial radio. So you know, it's just second nature that you know, I'm looking at this meter, and it tells me exactly where my audio level in transmit is. It also shows me where your level is in the receive mode, so I see both sides of the situation. And just FYI, we are recording at the moment, so we will be posting this up on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. Right now we're running about 730 Qsos, but you'll be interested in the one that has your call sign in it. So we will be posting this within the next couple of days, and your call sign will be in the title. Roger?
Roger. Thanks for the information. Yes, sir.
Roger, and your audio was nice at that time. It was a little low earlier, but it did came up. If you could tell me just for a moment about your antenna system before you go.
It's a loop antenna. It's just strung between some trees that's higher than about 20 feet off the ground, and just lots of trees around it. And lots of leaves coming down this morning, too.
Oh, roger that. Well, you know, most of the, well, all of the transmission that comes between you and me does not come by ground wave. It comes by skywave. So how you could be in a depression, you could be in a valley, and it really probably wouldn't affect your signal very much, and trees won't affect your signal very much. It's all coming by skywave. Roger. Well, I'll let you go. I'll say threes to you, and again, we will be posting this in the next couple of days. So you have a real good day, and if you get a chance, drop by. We will be doing our Qso-Vlog network on this frequency Friday afternoons between 3:30 and 5. Threes for now. This is KC9VKV.
73 K4AVO.
Roger. Well, I think we have probably accumulated enough call signs to fill out that title. I think if we get anybody else, we won't be able to get everybody in the title. So we'll back out of here for now. Thanks everybody that participated, and we will load this up on YouTube within the next couple of days, and it will be just a one upload. Everybody will be on the one, and probably it'll be a half hour or so. But anyway, if you participated, hopefully your call sign will be in the title. So threes for now. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and we'll be clear.